look at the time. I'm like, am I on a schedule? All right. But what we are going to go through specifically today is we're going to go through training your opponent. All right, and I don't mean training your opponent to be better. I mean training your opponent to be really, 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 really easy to kill. All right. So what we're going to do by training our opponent is we're going to set up a pattern which they are comfortable reacting to in a predictable fashion. Then we're going to use that pattern to kill them a lot and make them feel very, very bad about themselves. All right, I'll give you an example. Okay. Stay facing. Excellent. So what does Noah have? What does he have open in this basic stance? This is Hart, you grab your hat, go for it.
What does he have open in this basic stance?
Yeah, if you're fighting Noah, what are you going to swing at?
I mean, there's a stab that looks invitable in there underneath between a sword and a shield.
Sure.
Maybe something high on his sword side.
Okay. All right, sure, yeah. Good starting point.
I see an effective shot on his shoulder and legs, but I know legs just make a shield be stronger.
No, if you can leg someone, you should. You take away their mobility. It's a myth that being legged makes a boardman stronger. It's not true. If you can move and they can't, you are going to win.
Especially in y'all's game.
Yeah, especially when you can like knock them over and shit. But generally speaking, if they can move, or if you can't move, they cannot move, and you can, you are eventually going to win. If that doesn't happen, you're doing something fundamentally wrong. So if you can leg a boardman, you should absolutely do it. That said, it's really irritating. Okay, so yeah, there's a shot over here. That's definitely true. It's a little bit further away because he's sword side forward. All right, so it's a little bit harder to get to. Yeah, this is kind of open. Maybe we can get over here. We got to cross the plane of his sword. This stab, that's pretty open. That would actually be very inviting to me. Anything else?
Shield side hip.
Shield side hip, yeah, because he's got this cannoned out. We can come under there, we can hit that. So essentially we've got something in most quadrants if we really want it. Go ahead and get back in stance. We could also try and come under here if we want to get that. That would be kind of a lot of work. It'd be pretty slow. But the point is, in this static defense, there's a lot of things that we could throw for and we can get to. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of them. We're going to find a safe opener that we can do for it, something that forces him to react and move, and then we're going to throw that. All right? Now the goal is not necessarily to kill him. The goal is to get him to react in a certain way to a certain behavior that we're putting out. As an example. All right, we're not fighting. I'm showing something else. We'll need to be in stance. You're very not helpful. Okay, stop. Good. All right, as an example, if I'm going to step forward, I'm going to try and throw this outside, that's what he's going to do. He's going to come out to block this, right? If he doesn't come out to block this, there's a good chance I can get over there and hit that. Well, he doesn't want that, so he's going to shift over a little bit. Great. That's exactly what we want. So what we want to do is we want to set up that this movement here is an outside shot over here. Not because we're particularly interested in this, but because we're pulling it away from his top left quadrant. All right? Okay, so we start here. We're going to come here, and you see that while I'm stepping, I'm not actually stepping towards this side. If I was real serious about hitting this side, I'd be going out and trying to create more space this way. I'm not interested in that. I'm stepping, but I'm throwing my hand over this way. He's going to key off of my hand. He's going to follow my hand while I'm setting up for the shoulder wrap. Come here, come around. Fantastic. So that's what we're going to do as an opener. We're going to work on that. Just to show you where the rest of the day is going to go, we're going to rotate between doing this and some other variety of irritating things to him, all based on the same opener. So for the same opener, let's say I come here. He's seen me come over here, so he's going to stay. He's going to either pump there real briefly and then jog back, which I can then stutter and throw, so I can pump it and come over, okay? Or what's more likely to happen is after I do one of those two things a couple of times, he's going to come up high in general on both sides. Right, exactly. Perfect, right? Okay? I can rotate through the selection of shots all day. So it's literally, I come up high, he comes to the outside, I go low. I come up high, he comes to this side, I go shoulder. I come up high, I take this way, he goes there, I go over. If he somehow decides that he wants to back up and do this, I go low, okay? So what we're setting up is we've got 3 possible locations we can hit with the same setup. He's going to choose one, and we've got 2 more options. He's going to die. We can just keep rotating through the same 3 or 4 shots all day, and he'll never be able to do anything about it. There's a correct defense to this, but we don't care. We'll get to it later. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, we need to be able to throw this shot with some conviction. Okay? Don't worry about hitting them. Don't worry about overextending. What you want to be able to do is throw this shot, maintain your block lane, because the first setup to this process is to throw this as a safe opener that they can't respond to and kill you. All right, so we're going to practice that. The next thing that we're going to do, after you're comfortable with that, the step here, they throw the block, come around and go over. Now if you see where I'm hitting him, face them to the back, good. There's really not a lot of argumentation there.
I also still think my shield's in place.
Right. From his perspective, his shield is in place. And it would be if I hadn't moved it over and I wasn't stepped out to the right.
This is where it should be.
Exactly.
That's where I think it is. This is where it is.
Right. From his perspective, what's going to happen is he's not actually going to know that he moved his shield. He's not going to realize, okay? He's going to be like, I thought my shield was in place and I got hit. I don't understand. That guy's a really amazing rat. Not so much. All right. So break up into groups. Practice throwing this in the outside while being able to maintain the block. Once you've done that and you're successful with it, then go ahead immediately and move into with a step out to the right and around to the shield side shoulder. Work with your opponent. Go ahead and bite on these things. It is very hard to practice feints and baits. So work with your opponent and fall for it. Don't over fall for it, but don't fight it. You know it's coming.
Hey Brennan, I do have a slight question. Hold on, Tim. Just the coordination thing. For that shot selection, I understand the cross because you're inviting it here, but for your choice of wrap, why? I'm used to throwing a flat wrap, but do you prefer traditional wrap just for less argument and arm
To the shoulder?
Yes.
Oh,
See what
well,
I'm saying?
essentially, so I'm coming over here, I'm pulling him out of position, right? And I can throw just a flat.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, I'm pulling his shield in front of his sword and I'm stepping out to the right, and my shield is here, right? So I might as well go for the bigger one because I'm not in danger. I can't throw through this plane and hit my arm. My shield is here.
That was just my question. Okay, thank you.
No, I proactively blocked off his angle of attack so I can be a little bit more aggressive with my wrap on it.
Okay.
If I was throwing it as just a straight opener,
Then-
you're right. I just do this instead of doing it. Give him a minute or two, and then I'm going to start making fun.
I guess his stance was in the right place. It's in the right place. It doesn't make a difference, right? So that is
You're not really selling this breaking.
what I'm aiming to do.
So
I was just going to slap you.
go ahead and actually just practice throwing this shot, all right, and making him concerned. Because what you want him to do is you want him to feel that even if this shot isn't necessarily going to get through, he needs to react to it in some way. Even if all of his reaction is that he doesn't see the follow-up coming, that'll still work, right? As long as you can get him focused on, this is the shot, that was plenty of movement. It doesn't even have to be that much. Because the trick is you're really just using this as a setup to disguise the fact that you stepped way out of his right. Okay, so it's here, and then over. Okay, and your shield is coming in to block the rest of this lane. So here, taking a step, and then you can take another one if you need to, depending on what you're doing.
You know, one of the big things is you're doing this to throw it, and all I'm doing is this.
Good. All right, now, before you actually get to the point where you impact,
The point is, this is the cross.
the circle. So you don't actually stop your sword, that would take way too long. Don't bother.
And then the return.
Okay? Don't stop your sword, don't change the direction. Circle. Circle, wrap shot.
Start with that elbow.
if you're doing the circle back here, it's not a threat. The circle needs to be near his hand. That's not bad. Try that again.
Not coming back. Up. Yeah. Mission for that shot. Drawing a shot.
That's not bad, but you're kind of doing this. It's a little exaggerated. It's this. So you see how this is maintaining the block lane the entire time, coming through. My shield is now in the block lane, and I wrap over. It's a tight circle, and the point of the circle is so that I don't have to stop the momentum of the sword. That's not bad. Try that again.
And the way you're going to
Hit my fist with your circle.
that open.
Right, but it's not two circles, it's one. So hit it on the way through. Good. All right, good. Do it again. That's where you should be throwing your circle. That. Now, instead of hitting flat like this at the end, I'm going to put your elbow up.
Sword coming back. Sword. That right there. Everybody cocks their sword, right? Okay. Which shot is that going for? Plenty of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything.
So, right, this, some way, right? How about, right, okay. So, you're moving all over the place. If I was a little faster, I'd be catching you, okay? So, right, now you're not moving at all. You're all nervous.
I stepped.
Yeah. So, you know. So, you can actually do this by yourself. All it is making a twitch. No, it's feints. And if you're doing it right, so what he was trying to say is if you're doing it right like this, your shield's in place. Okay? Right. If you do it right, they won't even know what. Yeah. You'll do this stuff like this. If you got your feints and it's working really well, you throw a feint, you land a beautiful shot, you'll be so fucking proud of yourself. You're like, dude, you see that feint? They're like, there's no feint, I didn't buy it. Yeah, they did. They bought it so bad they don't fucking know. Yeah. that's but you can do it by yourself. So it works like this. There's only so many places to start. So where does that open? This or this? So we do this, the shield goes up, obviously. We do this, the shield goes down, obviously. So all you have to do is watch this corner and start a shot. Yeah.
Like twitch in a direction. So if I twitch here,
It's not twitching because this is what it twitched. Yeah.
All right, circle back up.
You got to sell and open it.
you're taking twitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we just worked on was we're going to try and get them trained that this is something that we do, and then next time we throw it, instead of actually making contact, we come in, we throw this circle, we take a half step out, and we blast them in the shoulder. And if you get the backboard off of their shoulder into their head, like I just did, that's even better. Make sure that they take the shoulder first after you hit them in the head. Okay, so did anyone have any questions about that? Any comments? They need any examples or have any commentary on it?
I have one question.
Sure.
On the opening shot selection, your cross, you're starting that cross and getting them to establish that as, you know, when I step, I have two level question. One, what is the exact shot? Are you throwing a mid, like a short cross, or are you actually throwing a deeper, like a higher cross?
So it's one of a number of possible things, and what it comes down to is you change it a little bit for each opponent.
Oh, okay.
But for the way that Noah's standing, I'm actually just going to throw and hit him in the top of the hand. Okay? Because what I want him to do is I want him to think that he needs to dedicate more resources to blocking that shot because it's moving him around. If you can move your opponent's guard around, they'll be real uncomfortable with it, and they'll attempt to resist that. That's great. That's what we want him to do. So when I'm throwing this opener against Noah, it's just that, right? Just convincing him that he needs to push that he needs to punch that, and then come over. And sometimes they'll literally do bullshit like that.
Right. Running a post and he's gone.
And my second question is, when you're establishing that opener, are you establishing the step as well, or are you establishing just a simple static shot?
No, I don't establish the step as part of it. Okay. The step only happens when I want to go to this side. Okay. And the reason for that is I don't want to give them an opportunity to notice the step.
Okay.
Right? Because what's going to happen is they're going to key on too fast. First of all, my hand moved. What did you do? You're going to key on two facts. First of all, my hand move, and he did that thing that he always does right before he hits me in my sword hand. Okay? Because we programmed them to realize what's going on. The second thing that they're going to realize is, oh my God, he hit me in the shoulder. They're going to miss everything in between because humans are bad at that. You're psychologically not really capable of noticing the in-between steps. It's just because you're a human. It's how it is. Right. So what's going to happen is you're going to take the first action that you notice that you're capable of processing. You're going to take the final result, and you're going to try and stitch together all the pieces in between, and you're going to miss the fact that I moved my foot. All right? But if I do it often enough where you survive it, and I take that step as part of it, your odds of noticing it go way up, and you may figure out what's going on. I don't want my opponents to figure out what's going on. I want them to be confused. All right? They should be like, I don't know what happened. I just got hit. Great. So when I'm normally doing it, I may take a step forward and throw that because I may be out of range. But if I'm taking a step forward, it's a little bit forward and out to this side. Okay? But most of the time, it's just going to be...
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, no problem. Any more questions about that? That was an excellent question. All right. Awesome. So far, here's the pattern that we have developed for them. They go here. They know that we do this. Great. They know that every once in a while, when they do this, they somehow get hit in the shoulder. They're not exactly sure what's happening, but anyone will eventually figure out that what they should do is put their shield in front of their shoulder, and maybe they'll stop getting hit, right? Wrong. Okay, so we're going to do this. They're going to try and leave that shoulder up here. Okay, great. They're going to do that. There's a number of things that we can do, but for the purposes of this particular conversation, we're just going to fucking blast him in the hip.
It may be the second one.
His shield is up. He's out of position. We're taking this step. Go around the back.
No.
All right. Now this only works because we've convinced him that there's something wrong with his shield side shoulder. If he just stayed in place, we couldn't do it, right? Here, just don't move.
Yep.
All right. Well, you can actually move this time, like bite off. Only because his shield is up can we do this. If his shield was in the right place, we would not be able to strike him. Turn around so they can see the other side. Correct position. We get stopped. Exaggerated high position. We hit him in the fat roll. Does everyone see how that works? Go ahead.
I just want to point out, if you notice they have a low strap, that's even more money.
Oh, yeah. Low strap shields are a great way to get killed, kids. Anyways, but yeah, no, he's absolutely right. Especially really small low strap shields like that one. Oh, okay. Oh, don't stab me. Makes me sad. All right, so here's what we're going to do. The next step, we've already got this. We convinced them to do that. Eventually, they're going to catch on that they need to leave this up here. Great. They're going to get that block exactly once. So we go here, they block. Oh my God. We step further around and we throw low. After every shot, past the initial where they get the block up high, we don't bother to throw high. We just fake high and then come around to the hip. Our shield goes here, ends up against their shield. They are blocked out. And we can do this for a long time, in fact. They don't like it. No, we're not going to do that. That's true. All right. Yeah, okay. So we'll get to that next. But what he's alluding to is, once we've gotten this where they know that if they come here, we step here, we throw here, they'll literally get stuck doing that, and you just wait for them to go up or down depending on your preference, and then you just hit whatever you want. If they get stuck high, you go low. If they get stuck low, you go high. And at that point, they're just confused and sad, which is exactly how you want your opponent to be. All right, so we're going to try that. What we're going to do is you want your opponent to try and block, okay? The only stipulation is that the person who is receiving, the person who is on the blocking end, must bite on the initial. So please start by biting on your opponent's initial, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to try and block either their high or their low. Their job is to throw the initial, get here, figure out where you're going based on your body language, and throw to the other. Your job is to try and not let them do that. Don't be too aggressive. Start slow, telegraph your block a little bit, let them work up to it. This is a training exercise, this is not a fight. But the goal is that you want to be able to figure out on the fly, do I need to go high or do I need to go low? Because one of them is going to be open by definition. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Break into groups. I encourage you to work with someone you have not worked with before. It's always nice to meet new people and hit them.
We can like switch out. Yeah.
Call dude, you're with Noah.
Awesome.
Call dude, what's your name?
Tree.
Tree? It's very appropriate.
Go ahead.
What the fuck are you doing?
If you want to work by making contact a few times, you get the feel for it.
You going first?
Fine. This one does not necessarily make contact.
I'm being
Then you're either going to try and walk high or walk low.
I need to step in.
Just need to figure out where you're going. Because it's either this, and one of them is going to. Yeah.
I know.
You throw the low. Shake up on your sword.
Just feel it.
I know, right?
It's because I'm stepping with my drop. I know you should.
Strike. The first one, then step. Step into the shot.
The point of it was like fake.
Double bump it, but you want to read it in strike.
You're not, whenever you're throwing the hip, you're not faking this. I can tell because instead of, you go from straight high cross to the drag to the hip scoop. And you're not going high when you're going for hip. You stay at mid-cam instead of going all the way around to get that hit. So whenever you're doing that, my shield doesn't need, my shield doesn't need to go strong. You're gonna go low. And so that was the big sell about why I was doing that low. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, my ears just popped.
I dropped everything, put my sword and stabbed him in the collar and double screen. Like, yes.
There you go.
I don't have anything.
Nah, you can keep going. You should get this.
Fake it. It just went
You're getting my leg. That doesn't make sense. You're getting on. You want to be swinging from center mass.
Start slow. Fight on the initial and then block either high or block low exaggerated. Good. Sorry. Don't lean too much. Okay. It's not a lean. You could do the same thing with the same body position, either high or low. You don't need to lean more out of position to do it. Watch what happens when you do this side. Just get over here. Go ahead and just block high. So I'm going to throw here. He's going to come over. He's going to bite high. Okay. And I'm not leaning. I'm just coming down. Literally pulling up. Yeah. So it's this shot here. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is kind of
I'm reaching around all the way up here.
right, and that's what it's doing. You're choking up on your sword, getting to go high a little bit.
Only 2 kids showed up.
They're almost hitting the grass and then coming up into him. It's not. You'll never get there.
Yeah.
It's not bad, Chuck. Yeah. Probably a little bit low, which means it'll probably make you break your wrist a little bit sooner and try choking up on your sword. There you go. Try it now. Good. That's hitting him right above the belt, right? That's much better. I was right on the belt. Good. And you get to hit him in the face with his own shield. Always a good. All right, you throw on him.
Let me know when I gotta get up and do something.
Gotta read where he's going. Good.
Lean down.
Also this hill, man.
Lean down.
And he was going low on the bite. So what I would do is slow down your shot. You go ahead and just bite either high or low and give him a chance to acclimate to it. So that you guys can speed it up to get used to it. I would throw in a little pause when you're fighting someone who's getting real aggressive about it. So go here, throw, and then pause, and then they'll pick one and go, and then you can throw. What's up, guys? Hey, you guys match. It's very cute. You even have the same haircut. All right. Was everyone able to differentiate between when they should go high and go low? All right, so it takes a little bit of practice, it takes a little bit of reading, but what you'll notice is you can force them to either go high or go low, and if they're high, they can't block low, and if they're low, they can't block high. So with the same lead off, which is here, they either have to pick low and get hit in the shoulder, or they have to pick high and get hit in the ass, and then either way, you laugh at them and walk off, right? So laughing is very important. It's not like a cackle, it's got to work on it. You've got to work on the laugh. Noah needs more practice. All right. So, we've got them in a situation where we can throw here, we can come high, we can come low, whatever, it doesn't matter. What they're eventually going to start doing is they're going to start getting really clever, and they're going to start doing things like trying to back this out and put this up, right? That's perfectly fine, because the next thing that we're going to do is hit them in the sword side hip. At this point, it's start here, come here, they come high, we come back down, and we reverse into their sword side hip. It sounds complicated, but at speed it works really, really well. So it's just here, right? And our shield is again right there blocking them off. And if they're swinging at us, we're hitting them, right? They're hitting our shield, we're hitting them in the ribs and cackling madly.
The only option is this.
Which I've got my
Which
shield
is
here.
Even worse.
It's even more of that. It's when you Madu step in, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. If this was a game which allowed Madus to count as a strike, this is actually the perfect setup. Oh, yeah, actually.
Pretend there are totally illegal little daggers on the end of this shield.
Right there. Okay, so he's actually not being facetious. He's asking me not to break his
He's got
ribs.
a little counter now.
There's
6
no, well, we're talking ribs or people?
people.
Oh, 5.
God.
Okay, I think it's 8 ribs. 8 ribs, 5 people. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've already got the prime. I'm not going to hurt you, you're fine. We're going to come here. We're going to come here, all right? At this point, they have no choice but to try and block this up, because they know that either of those can be a threat. We're going to try and pull this shield around to block that hip, and look what they've done.
Money.
Right? So if we had a Madu, that's what we would do. Now, if we just have a little punch shield and it's dagger bell and we can't score hits with that, we can still make them quit.
It's my favorite.
Seriously, Art,
But they
come here.
can't tell the difference between the edge of the shield and your sword.
Art, come on, man.
I did.
What?
Are you actually? He's not going to hurt you.
Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So I do this all the time, right? As one of my standard setups, if you fought me, you've seen me do this, whether or not you realized it.
Yep.
I do this, I come here, I do that, right? And what happens is you either freeze up top, or you try and throw this cross, and the shield catches it, and I throw that. It's the same thing, so it works like gangbusters, except it's, I throw here, and then I lower this, and instead of trying to catch this with my shield and throw this, I just come right back up, catch this, step, and come through. And as Art can attest, that's actually pretty uncomfortable. It's,
Did I
and
make the noise
I'm not
because
hitting
I
particularly
needed to,
hard.
or because I had to.
Yeah, it's.
Yes.
I'm not hitting hard. That's just the way it is. So that's one of the things you can do. Obviously, you're not going to kill anyone with that in Bell or Dag. Well, I mean, you might actually kill them, but you won't score hit. All right, but what we were talking about was the sword side hip shot. So we've got them conditioned that this means that they must now block their shoulder or block their hip. They're going to pull everything over here and get real fucking paranoid about it. We're going to help their paranoia by coming up here as though we're going to throw a shoulder shot. I realize this does not look like the shoulder shot that we throw. That's okay, they're dumb. All right, now, once they come up and they follow us, we come back around. That looks like a high cross, or at least a flat cross. They're going to stay there. Great, whatever. We come down, our shield comes up, we go across. So you could do this with a small punch, it's real easy. You could do this with that, just as easy.
It's natural. There's not many other ways you can actually move.
Yeah. Once you actually do it at speed, it feels real, real smooth. So come here, come here, come here, and do that. This is not a dark side. A dark side is this. We reverse. This is here, here, block here, and then we don't actually chamber. We just come over and throw the reverse from here. Okay, so the dark side is that. We're not doing that. We're just coming here and then chopping over. So if you want to think of it as abbreviated dark side, you can, but it's really a different shot and it has a much different setup. Does that make sense? Does everyone understand why this works? All right. Conceptually, this works because, again, we've trained them that they need to block this, and they're going to come up either on this side and they're going to leave a giant fucking gap over here. It's going to be really funny. All right, so that's the next thing we're going to work on. We're going to work on step, just like we normally do. And we actually do want to take the step in the right direction because it's going to actually help us get our better angle. If we step in this direction, we've actually got to reverse further. It's going to steal a lot of the power. So it's not going to hit as hard. We actually do want to step in this direction. So come here, step, wait for them to pull out to the left side, their shield side, come back, come over, reverse. And the reverse should come right here. If for some reason they're real high, you can hit them in the arm if you want to. I don't know why you'd prefer to do that rather than hit them in the hip. But if they bring the shield back over, then you will want to hit them in the arm. Okay? The other thing that you could do is, if they do manage to get both of those real far over, right, over here, you just swing back through and hit them in the sip, the other hip. That's a lot to break down in one thing. So,
It gets a little complicated in the first two shots.
whatever. But we trained them, this is no good, I must block my shoulder. My shoulder's no good, I must block my hip. My hip and my shoulder are both getting obliterated. I'm just going to panic and step out that way. Fantastic, thank you. Then we start back over by throwing this shot again. And then we just repeat the pattern all day. All right, break up into groups. You're going to work on throwing this up here and coming back and throwing the reverse underneath to the sword side hip. If you are the person receiving, go ahead and bite on it. You're going to bite on it by moving here and then pulling up, okay? And trying to block both your hip and your shoulder at the same time. That's automatically going to make a pocket where they're going to throw their shot into. Are there any questions? Break into groups, go do it.
Not see a lot of what he was doing.
Don't worry about stuff.
Doing this right.
Shit.
I'm coming up.
All right, what you guys got?
That deep roll is exactly what you're looking for.
So I keep doing this. It's just a bad habit, but
That's the dark side. If you want to do that, that's fine. That's an acceptable possible ending to this. It's a little bit slower, right? So they may get the block on it. If that's what you're comfortable doing, it's not wrong. It's just not optimal. So what I'm actually doing is I've got my board here, exaggerated. So rather than going here and around, it's just a little bit more efficient, but it's still okay if you want to throw a dark side on it instead. Go ahead and do it. No, it's all right. You probably still hit it just fine. Your shield needs to come over and protect your center line and this cross shoulder a little bit. This shoulder is going to be out of contention more or less. So really, you're just going to kind of do this. He may do that. It's real fucking unlikely.
I would be DED dead.
Especially in Bellow Dag, there's not going to be enough on this once you get past your shield. Don't do it again.
Make sure
That's not bad. No, that was all right. Do it again. That. Yeah, you don't have to bend over straight when you do that.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't do that. You don't have to lick it. That, see? That.
It's more of a showing way of bringing it around.
Right here. Ah, not bad. You get a little bit of power on that. You probably need to extend your hand a little bit more. That was approximately correct. You need to sell this up here. This part right here is good. You look like you're doing what we've been doing. The ending part is good. You're still not selling the high version.
I know who he is, but
But don't keep your thumb up.
I think what's happening is you're moving your hand in the correct location, but your sword tip is what they're going to cue on, and it's staying on this half of their body. Think about moving your sword tip over here, not your hand. Okay. You actually bring your hand down to start setting up with a shot. It's faster, but you let your sword tip float over where it's a threat. That was a little bit better. Try it again. Think of pointing your sword tip. Try to get your sword tip.
That was bad. That was impressive shot.
Good. Do it again. Good. Do it again. Excellent. I'll do it without my hand. Hold up short again. See, you stop like here. In order for this to be scary, they have to feel like you're going to throw the shot. They feel like you throw the shot when you cross the center line of their body. So you set your hand up for the shot down here while faking with your sword tip. So that was pretty good. That was not bad. Do it again. You didn't get far enough over. Okay. It takes a little bit of practice, but you've got the right idea. You just need to drill it.
I still feel I'm not going deep enough here.
Deep enough on the end? No, deep here. No, yeah, you're not going deep enough there. You're definitely getting deep enough here. Watch what I'm doing. Stand over here. Oh. Yeah. Now point your wrist a little bit more when you're over in this direction. Yeah. Yes, that. That was very threatening. I felt threatened for his shoulder. Try it again. Yeah, see? And the whole time you're never really moving out of position.
Okay. Because that was, I guess I was misunderstanding here, is to come here and pump here and then come back. But that makes a lot more sense.
Right. We would only pump them here if we hadn't already convinced them that this is a threat. Okay. That's why we don't actually have to do anything terribly convincing, because we've already fucked with their head a lot today.
Okay. Let me try this one. Sorry. Hey, sure.
No. You can put the point over here. Try to point over there. Yes. Good. Excellent. Good. And the stab at the end.
Insurance stab.
All right, your turn. Wait, no, did you already do this? Fuck you guys, I can't remember. You get the right idea there. Okay. So again, this works not because this is a particularly great shot. It is something you can just do completely cold. It mostly works because we've been doing this, and then this, and then this all day. And now they're like, oh my God, please stop that. Okay, fine. Excellent.
Mick, did you get those? I haven't got the ones either. Sorry, I was helping with the next one.
I just did insurance stab.
You want to go first?
Excellent. All right, so what we went through was training your opponent so that you can make them look really bad. All right. We start attacking this, convincing them that they need to dedicate resources over there. They're going to pull their guard to that side. They're going to pull their shield to that side. And we're going to hit them in the shoulder. Great. Next time, we're going to keep doing this until they get wise to it. There are some people to whom you can do that forever. They just never catch on, and they'll be like, I don't understand, I keep getting hit. That's fine, they're terrible. You just kill them with that and you move on. Don't feel bad, it's their problem. But some of them will catch on. They will come here. Wrap them in the hip, right? Excellent. Some people will never catch on to that, and then you could just wrap them in the hip all day. It's also fine. Some people, the lucky few, will figure out that they need to panic and will do this. What they should really do is be backing up. That's the core response to all of these that is correct, by the way. If you're ever in a situation where your opponent is now setting the pace of the fight, just leave. Just back up. So if I was fighting Noah and he realized what was going on, I'd probably catch him with this 2 or 3 times. And then the next thing I do would be here, and he'd do that. He'd be like, that's bullshit, I'm leaving. Sure, yeah. He'd throw a dump shot, he'd get out, he'd keep me from following him. But that's the correct response, is to leave. If your opponent does not leave, you're going to kill them eventually. Because you've set the pace of the fight, they're now completely defensive, and they don't have as many defensive options as you have offensive places. Okay, so, great, fantastic. We've gotten to someone who's still really going to stay, but they're really good at trying to block these sides. They're going to try and come over here and really over-block this location. We come through and throw a reverse to their cut. All right. Are there any questions about any of this? It's kind of a lot to take in. It's a lot of reading. It's a lot of setups. But if you do it right, you get a pattern that you can run on people all day just by choosing whatever they're doing and just going somewhere else. Does that make sense to everyone why it works conceptually? Excellent. I see lots of blank stares. You look all overloaded. Thank you. Tomorrow's show will probably be nothing like today's show, probably because it's going to be raining and there's a really good chance we'll leave before 6 p.m. So, if it is not raining by 6 p.m. and we happen to be having class, please come back. It will be completely different. Tomorrow we'll talk about something really entertaining, which is aggressive shield work. Dead Bob Show?
That's right. That's what we're doing. Yes.
Tomorrow's the Dead Bob Show. I'm not sure what this means, but we'll do it anyways. All right. Thank you for coming. Bye-bye.